What is up, people? My name is Shoquafina, and I'm the coach of your Lake Huron Lanturns here in Week 6 of the NBA Pokemon Draft Battle League. And this week we're going up against GoodMorningCrono, aka apparently Free Shadow Tag, coach of the New Mauville Patriots. If you guys are excited for this battle, please leave a like down below, as well as subscribe to me on YouTube if you aren't already, and follow me on Twitter just for notifications of when I'm getting ready to upload things and stuff like that. Let's just get right into this. I hate self-plugging. So, we noticed something very huge about this team. I'm going to tell you right now. It's because he didn't bring the Gyarados, guys. That's the thing I noticed. And I'm really happy about that because Gyarados was such a huge threat because of how he uses it. He uses it very, very, very well. He instead brings the Luxray. I was pretty much expecting everything else except for maybe the Hariyama. Possibly bringing something other than that. But yeah, so I'm very excited to see no Gyarados. I feel so much better about this match right now. He has two Pokemon 4 times weak to Ice, that being the Gliscor and the Dragonite. So Ice Beam on our T-Tar is looking to be very, very, very clutch at the moment. And yeah, I mean, just looking at this, he has a couple of Pokemon that could set up rocks. The Gliscor and the Mega Aggron, either one of those could have them. And to be honest with you guys, Rotom's looking like a really good matchup against this team. I don't really see anything that wants to do too much to our Rotom, barring maybe like HP Grass on something. But even then, he's not going to have too many special attackers here. I mean, Dragonite's usually physical, Hariyama's physical, Mega Aggron's physical, Gliscor's physical. What's this thing called? Luxray is best run as a physical set, and Lucario's mixed. So I'm feeling pretty good about our Rotom here because he is physically defensive, and HP Grass doesn't look like it's gonna be that much of a factor. So let's just go ahead and hop right on into this match. Play music off. Laundromat leads. He actually leads with his Lucario here and switches out first turn. That's fine by me. Out into this thing. I go for a big Volt switch here just to get some momentum as I go out into my Dr. Dreidel, just so I can get up a Intimidate on this thing. So we're showing off our new Pokemon right off the bat here. And this thing can't really do anything to me right now since he's intimidated. And so I make a double, predicting him to go out into his Gliscor, which he does, so I go out into my Laundromat here. So I make a very good prediction there. Unfortunately, as you saw right there, he decides to go in for a Rock Polish, which tells me this thing is probably Baton Pass. Either that or he's trying to sweep me right now. He might have like Smackdown EQ just for my Laundromat here. So we missed the Willow, which is very unfortunate, which means his Toxic Orb is going to pop here. I was not looking forward to that. He actually isn't Toxic Orb, which surprised me, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, he just goes for the SD here, so this tells me like 100% he's Baton Pass. I actually went for the Hydro Pump here. As you see, he has the Berry, so he's not running Toxic Orb. He is running the Water Berry, the Pasho Berry, to reduce Water type damage. That wouldn't have killed him, to be honest, because it halves it, and he still had over half his health left, so we would have had a little bit more. But if we had that Will-O-Wisp, it would have been wearing him down ever so slightly. As you see here, he's going to go for the big Baton Pass. I predict him to do this as he goes out into his Dragonite. I predict him to do that, so I go for the burn. Not only does that, would that knock off his multi-scale, but it also puts him back at neutral. But as you see here, he has the Lumberry, so very good play on his part. And his burn is cured. He goes for the Dragon Claw. It does not KO. We go for another Will-O-Wisp. Thankfully, we hit it. So we take this thing down to neutral. Attack. He's still at +2 speed. And now his multi-scale is going to be gone because the burn will not make him be at 100% anymore. Or make him not be at 100% anymore. They phrase that kind of funny. So we have to switch out here, and we do right out into our T-Tar. We can take anything this wants to give me. You see that Dragon Claw doesn't really do too much. And he's taking Sandstorm plus burn damage here. So he's going to stay in and go for the EQ. We don't go down to that, but we do get our Stealth Rocks up, which is going to be fairly important later on. He's going to take Sandstorm and burn damage here again. I could have went for the Ice Beam here and just knocked this thing out, but I didn't know if he wanted to switch and possibly preserve this thing. But But again, I guess I don't know what he'd be reserving it for, so I misplayed there putting the stealth rocks up. But I wanted the rocks up anyway because I see he had a baton passer, which means he's probably going to try and do that again. And I do not want him getting free baton pass setups into things. I'd much rather them come in on stealth rocks, take some damage, possibly break a focus sash, you know, that kind of stuff. So we're actually going to switch out here, preserve our sand for later as I go out into my laundromat. He goes for a Dragon Claw, and I just sack off my laundromat instead. So that's absolutely fine. He's going to take some more burn sand damage, and I'm going to switch out into my Dr. Dreidel to put this thing's attack down even more. So now he's at -1 attack thanks to the burn and the intimidate. He's actually just going for a tailwind here as I go for a Stone Edge and knock this thing out. So we see that was not only a sweeping variant with the baton pass, but also to get up that tailwind for his team was a very good bring for Crono. I did not see that coming whatsoever. I thought he'd just be 4 attacks or 3 attacks Dragon Dance just in case he couldn't get the baton pass into him. But yeah, that tailwind's a very nice move on his part. But Dr. Dreidel picking up his first kill of the season for us in the brand new Pokemon, of course. And let's look for this guy to do a bit more work as the season goes along here. He actually goes back into his Gliscor here, taking some Stealth Rock damage, bringing him down below half. And he goes for an SD. I actually decided to go for a Stone Edge here just to punish him for wanting to stay in and set up again. This way he can't get up a Rock Polish before passing off again. So I go ahead and just go for the Stone Edge there just to get him to 16%. Really, really, really low. Basically, he's so frail right now, anything that hits him is going to knock him out. And he has to Baton Pass here into his Lucario. I actually predict that and go for the close combat. And down goes the Lucario. So that's 2 kills in a row for Hitmontop as he goes out into his Aggron here. 2 kills in a row for Hitmontop this match. He killed 2 of the biggest threats on his team, the only special attacker on his team. And we're looking actually really good right now thanks to Hitmontop, guys. Basically, I predicted that because the close combat knocked out the Gliscor anyway, and it did the most damage to everything else on his team, so going for Stone Edge would have been kind of stupid, to be honest. So that's why I did that. Fortunately, he went out into his Lucario, and that thing went down. But as we see here, he's going to Mega Evolve into his Mega Aggron. I have to switch out. I go out into Liepard here. I was actually expecting him to go for the Stealth Rocks so I could Encore him into it. But he actually goes for the Heavy Slam here and knocks me down to Sash. So I don't like that one bit. I would have much rather him went for the Stealth Rocks. But I'm just going to go for some Yellow Magic here. Hopefully get a full para on this thing as we do get a full para. So that's kind of unfortunate for Crono, but very, very fortunate for us. I will take that all day. And I just go for the knockoff here. Gets a crit. It doesn't really matter. But he goes for the Stealth Rocks, probably predicting us to switch. I was just going for damage, to be honest. And I go for the Encore here. And Encore him into Stealth Rocks. So yeah, now I could just do whatever. I'm going to go for the U-turn here just to get some damage and go out into my Chandelure, knowing that he has to Stealth Rock one more time. So now looking at his team, I'm like, okay, this thing puts in a little bit of work here. He has to switch out. He does. He sacks off this thing, but I missed the Fire Blast, so, you know, that's fine. We are Choice Scarf, though, so it will go down to another Fire Blast. So that's 3 Pokemon down. He goes out into his Hariyama here. This thing might have Thick Fat, which means Fire Blast is not going to do too much to it. But he also might be Guts. So we don't really know what he is. I have to switch out, though. I'm just going to sack off my Liepard here as he goes for Knockoff. So that's good that I switched out. I'm going to send in my Dr. Dreidel here just to get the Intimidate off once again, as he has to switch out into his Luxray to get his own Intimidate off. And my Close Combat actually crits and gets the KO there. I didn't bother calcing that to see if that actually mattered. Probably did, to be completely honest with you guys. So sorry about that, Crono. That puts him down 4-2 as he goes out into his Hariyama yet again. So that's 3 kills for Hitmontop this week. Looking very skilled there with his cool little dance moves. Dr. Dreidel here spinning all over the place. As I go for close combat again, doing 45% of this thing, putting it down very, very low. I figured the damage on this was worth more than spinning the rocks away, because at this point Scarf Chandelure cleans up with Fire Blast anyway, and obviously his close combat's going to knock me out, but that also drops his defenses, which means anything that touches this guy's going to make him go down. I went out into my T-Tar here because I thought that sending him out, even though he would die to Stealth Rocks, would still set up the sand. But apparently it doesn't. So I was just trying to set up the sand that way. I knew for sure that I outsped with Excadrill just in case something funky was going on with this guy's set. But, you know, that didn't happen, so that's fine. Instead, I just got Excadrill instead here, hoping that he's not scarfed. You know, hopefully he's not scarfed. So I go for the EQ here, and it does pick up the kill. Crit didn't matter there. He's not scarfed, so we're good. And he goes into his Aggron, which is paralyzed. He does take some Stealth Rock damage, not much, obviously, because he resists. But we do have our Chandelure in the back here. An EQ puts this thing within Shadow Ball range, so I won't have to worry about hitting a Fire Blast. So I go for the EQ. You see, it does so much damage, puts it down to 24%. He goes for his own EQ, and it knocks me out. So that's fine. We send in our Itlit here. And like I said, this thing's now in Shadow Ball range. I don't need to worry about missing a Fire Blast. We just go for the Shadow Ball and knock this thing out. And we pick up a very narrow 1-0 against Crono. It's such a good game. I know I had a little bad hacks on my side. I honestly might have needed it. But, yeah, very well played on both sides. I feel like I played very well there as well, saving my win condition for the very end, getting better about that. Even though I didn't know T-Tar would not set up the sand after going down to rocks, you know, I had the wherewithal to save that to the very end and sack it off in order to set up sand for the Excadrill. And knowing when to spin and when not to spin with Hitmontop, I feel like I'm really getting better with this team, and it's really going to help us out. We just knocked off the second place team in the league. He was 4-1, he's now 4-2. We're at 500 at 3-3, so we're ever improving, and we're looking really good. And these two new additions on the team got the two highest kills this week. Hitmontop with 3, Chandelure with 2, and then our Excadrill picked up 1 there on the Hariyama. So I look for these two Pokemon to do work throughout the rest of this league, guys. I'm calling it right now. They're going to be putting in probably more work than Excadrill was, just because they fit this team very, very well and can actually surprise my opponent with some certain sets I can bring. I've already been scouting some sets, so thank you guys for watching. I'm really excited that we picked up this victory. It really meant a lot to me because, again, we knocked off the second place person in the league, and just big victory overall, puts us back in the playoff race. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Make sure to check out next week and check out the GPL video whenever that comes out. My name's Shoquafina, and I'm out.